Hey, everybody, and welcome to Church at Home with Rachel for Thursday, the 16th of January. Before I go on, a couple of people have commented on my post-it notes. They sort of fluctuate from time to time. The ones over this shoulder are my daily things that I need to do each day. And then I am that kind of person who needs to strike things off a list and show myself I've accomplished something. So I put them on there, and that reminds me what I have to do. And because they're post-its, if that doesn't happen or if something happens, if life happens, I can move them around, figure out which things might take less time and grab them if I got 10 minutes to do something extra, things like that. And the other side is points that I'm working on from other events that I've been to, ideas for the diocese. What you can't see is the wall in front of my computer, which is covered in big post-it notes like pastoral letters and finances and canons and constitution and policy and procedures and communications and things like that, because I am learning how to be a bishop and learning how to sort of get things running really and trying to get them in a really professional way so that we're not always sort of putting out dumpster fires, as they say, sort of trying to think ahead. So these, and then I've got a whiteboard on that side of the wall that also has things for me. So I'm completely surrounded by my to-do things. But that's how I roll. So people have asked before, what's with the post-it notes and how come sometimes there's more and sometimes there's less? When there's more, it just means there's more work to do. But what I wanted to talk about wasn't about post-it notes today. What I wanted to talk about is what might become a post-it note thing, a to-do thing. As a matter of fact, it will probably end up there today as I put it under my things to pray about list, which is equally long. And that is communications, because last Thursday, I believe it was last Thursday, I had a long day. I had 2 or 3 Zoom conferences, and a lot last week was just meetings, wall-to-wall meetings, and a lot for me. I'm an introvert, so I can handle them well, and I do well in them, I think. But by the time they're done, I am just a little ball of silence who wants to curl up with a good book on my couch, or in my case, when I'm not tired, I curl up with my iPad and I watch past. Currently, I'm binging The Mentalist with Simon Baker. I'm on season 2. Anyway, that's how I handle things like that. But last Thursday, I was absolutely zonked. And as my incredible husband was making dinner for me, I was sitting at the kitchen table and just sort of going through my phone and looking at Facebook. And I came across the announcement by Mark Zuckerberg, who owns Meta, which owns Facebook and Instagram and Threads, all of which I am on, about how it has come to their attention that, they seem to be really exercising censorship in having the fact checkers, and that they're going to move away from that in the American platform anyway, and they're going to go to community groups so that community norms people can sort of self-regulate, I guess. We'll see how that goes. But this idea that, that they're spending too much time on fact checkers that are stopping people from being able to have their say, their First Amendment say, or whatever that is, that they get to say whatever they like with impunity. And he did actually reference President-elect Trump. And it was very clear that he has made the decision, unless it is some grand hoax, that Facebook is simply going to become another tool, as has X, which used to be Twitter for Elon Musk, and all of these other places, where Facebook will no longer be a place where you can simply go for fun or your own information. In Canada, it's difficult because they ban all Canadian news content. Even people who are sending me comments, or friends from the States who send me something that is about Canadian news, I can't watch it because it's banned. And they blame that on Canada because our government has made draconian rules. Well, I would suggest that our government's trying to take care of us. But anyway, so it really occurred to me, I was sick to my stomach, physically felt ill, because I thought this is in some ways the greatest sense of censorship. Rather than saying, you need to speak truth, they're saying we're going to allow anything and everything to be out there, which means it will be pushing untruths. There is no such thing as an alternative fact. A fact is a fact. A lie is a lie. Whether you tell your child, well, it was just a little white lie, it just still means it's completely untruth. It may not, impact the world. It may not hurt somebody. It may not get them fired, but a lie is a lie. Did you eat the last cookie in the cookie jar? That's a yes or a no. Well, if you did and you say no, that's sometimes will be referred to as a little white lie, a fib. Well, it's still a lie. It just is. Did you drain the last dollar out of Mr. Smith's bank account before you embezzled everybody else's money? Well, yeah, but he only had $1 left. That's not a fib. That's not a little white lie. That's a lie. We need to be able to recognize when something is not true. And that is what fact checking is all about. And that is why there was so much confusion and frustration for many, many people over things like debates during the election, because the fact that we have to have fact checkers who take the time in real time, like as things are being said, to go back and say, well, as a matter of fact, that is not true. That's ridiculous. What would be wrong with us simply speaking truth? Well, apparently a lot. And so Zuckerberg has decided that Facebook is going to be going back to a place or going to a place in which those people who scream out the sky is falling, the boy who cried wolf, all of those things, these things can happen on a regular basis with no one available for the American, and I'm wondering about Canadian content as well, Canadian viewers as well. Is this all of North America? No one will be able to say, like, you won't have a post taken down. Now, I am frustrated because I have had a post taken down. Nadia Boltz-Weber published a really great sermon one Sunday, and it was taken down from her site. I had an opportunity to read it. Somebody else had posted it really quickly. I read it through and thought, this is great. There's nothing offensive. It's true. I posted it, and within seconds it was taken down. I posted it again, and within seconds it was taken down, because somebody decided it was offensive to the community. So my argument would be that Zuckerberg and his minions have been doing this for a while. Not simply they're going to start. Because things that were truth, that spoke against what some people found offensive, were already being taken down because of the community norms or the community group that determined it wasn't to their liking. And that brings me to a big concern I have is, how do we, who have become quite reliant on such social media as Facebook, Instagram, and Threads, where do we go? How do we go to share our information? Where will I post these videos? Where will we have conversations when this is no longer a place where it is safe? And the fact is that we might get to the point where I don't even want to post those things that are things that no one would think to take down. Like this past weekend, Father Tim Moore's ordination. I posted that on Facebook. What happens when I get to the point where I so simply do not trust Facebook that I will no longer post, or my diocese will no longer post information there, when Facebook is the biggest way we access the most people that are part of our diocesan and Anglican Church community? So that becomes the big question, is at what point do we as leaders, at what point do we as content contributors, so to speak, say enough is enough and we will give up this platform even though it reaches the most people because it is unhealthy? What point do we stop participating in something because it is hurting other people? That is a real question that I am now I'm considering. There are other platforms out there. Blue Sky. I am on Blue Sky, but I can't remember my handle there. But I find that Blue Sky, it's sort of like Twitter or Threads, in that it's quick content. It's not the same style as Facebook, and the videos don't really catch there. People are looking for a faster thing. I don't know where to find a new platform, although somebody has shared with me the possibility of one, and I don't know if it's open now because when I signed up, I'm like number 326,000 in line. But if it could be a platform that people would jump on and be considerate and kind and allow people to speak real truth without the fear of being censored because you don't fall into the party line of your country or of politicians, I would be welcoming that opportunity. But as I said, the only problem is, how do we then help those folks who are here move over to another platform where they can also see that? It is the conundrum of the day. It reminds me of the conundrum of the people of Germany as well, the Bonhoeffers and all of those people who in the early days faced what they could see as the recognition of what was coming like a steam engine in front of them. They were standing on the track and they had to figure out a way to build a new track. Because the time is coming. If Facebook, which has been relatively okay. We both share birthdays and celebrations and silly memes of cats on it. What happens when that becomes a tool of the government? What happens when that becomes an unsafe place? We need to find safe places before that happens. So I'm not sure what the answers are, but just that's where I'm thinking. So if you haven't checked it out, look up Zuckerberg's statement, about 5 minutes long, about where Facebook is going, at least in the States, and you might find yourself just as chilled as I was to discover what's happening. Where is our world going? I'm not liking where it's heading. But maybe together we can discover ways around these things. We can discover ways where people treat each other with respect and dignity, where truth is not some kind of commodity. It just is the right thing to do, to say. Let me know what you think. Are you worried about Facebook and other things like that? Are you just going to jump off social media completely? What does the future look like? Will we find an underground way, an underground railroad for social media? Who knows? But I think this is not an alarmist question. I think it's a question we need to face. Have a great day, everybody. God bless. I'll see you again tomorrow for Church at Home with Rachel.